A lot of people feel like something is wrong with them right now. Not in a dramatic way, in a quieter way. They feel more tired than they used to, less clear, less excited, less able to carry things that once felt normal. And because nothing has fully collapsed, they assume the problem must be them. They think maybe they've become weaker, less disciplined, less motivated, less grateful than they used to be. But I don't think that's the real story. I think a lot of people are having a normal reaction to a version of life that has quietly become harder to live inside. And that matters, because if you misread the problem, you start judging yourself unfairly. From the outside, life still looks normal. People still get up, go to work, reply to messages, pay bills, make plans, keep moving. That is what makes this difficult to recognize. A person can be functioning and still feel disconnected from their own life. They can look fine and still feel off, not broken, not falling apart, just slightly removed from things, as if life has become something they manage rather than something they fully live. And once that feeling lasts long enough, most people stop questioning the environment and start questioning themselves. That is where people get trapped. Because the pressure is so constant now, it no longer feels like pressure. It just feels like life. More cost, more comparison, more noise, more uncertainty, more reasons to stay alert, more reasons to stay productive, more reasons to feel like you should be doing better. And if that becomes the background of your life, it changes the way life feels from the inside. It changes the pace of your mind. It changes your relationship with rest. It changes how easily you can feel present. That is the part people often miss. They think they are reacting badly to life, but sometimes they are reacting normally to an environment that never really lets them settle. Think about how a normal day now starts. Before they have even properly entered their morning, they are already somewhere else. They check their phone, and instantly they are in contact with messages, updates, headlines, money, and other people's lives. Before the day has even begun, their attention already belongs to something else. Then the day starts. They get ready, travel, work, answer, sort, handle, push through, and none of that sounds extreme, which is exactly the point. The problem for a lot of people is not one dramatic event. It is the constant low-level demand of everything, the accumulation, the fact that life now asks for attention all day long. So let's make this more concrete. Imagine someone completely ordinary, no breakdown, no obvious crisis. They are responsible. They get on with things. Other people would describe them as doing fine. They wake up tired, but not tired enough to call it a problem. They tell themselves they just need a better routine. They go through the day handling what needs to be handled. Work feels heavier than it used to, but they keep doing it. Small decisions take more out of them than they expect, but they keep going. Even when they stop, their mind doesn't really stop. So they tell themselves they need a reset, a holiday, a better morning routine, more discipline, less laziness. A few weeks pass, nothing changes much. Then months pass, still nothing dramatic. They are still managing, still functioning. But underneath all of that, something is changing. They feel less present in their own life. They don't look forward to things. Rest doesn't fully restore them. Free time disappears without really feeling like recovery. Even good moments don't land with the same depth. And because there is no single event to explain it, they start blaming themselves. Maybe this is just adulthood. Maybe everyone feels like this. Maybe I've become negative. Maybe I'm just not built for life the way other people are. That is the moment I think millions of people are living inside. Not collapse, continuation. That is why it goes unnoticed for so long. Because people expect struggle to look dramatic. But often it doesn't. Often it looks like being slightly too tired for too long, slightly too distracted for too long, slightly too disconnected, until eventually that version of you starts to feel normal. And once that happens, you begin building a life around coping. You become the person who pushes through, the person who carries on, the person who stays productive, the person who doesn't make a big deal out of anything. But coping is not the same as living well. That is an important distinction. Because a lot of people have become very good at functioning inside conditions that are quietly draining them. And the better they get at coping, the less likely they are to question what it is costing them. They just assume adulthood feels like this. That being tired all the time is normal. That feeling mentally crowded is normal. That needing constant stimulation is normal. That finding it hard to be present is normal. Some of it may be common. That does not mean it is healthy. And that is where the perspective needs to shift. Because if you treat every reaction as a personal flaw, you will keep trying to fix yourself. You will think the answer is to become harder, more efficient, more productive. But what if that is not the answer? What if the issue is not that you are too weak? What if you have normal human limits and have been living as though they are failures? That changes the meaning of a lot. It changes the meaning of exhaustion. It changes the meaning of numbness and disconnection. Sometimes these things are signals. Signals that your attention has been stretched too thin, that your mind has had too little silence. Signals that too much of your life has become reaction instead of presence. That is not weakness. That is information. And once you start seeing it that way, something opens up. Now the goal is no longer to shame yourself into performing better. Now the goal is to understand what keeps making life feel less inhabited. What keeps scattering your attention. What keeps flattening your energy. What keeps making your inner life feel crowded. That is a better question. Because now you can actually respond to it. You can become more selective, more honest, more protective of your mind. That might mean reducing the noise you live inside. It might mean noticing how much comparison is shaping your mood. It might mean building parts of your day not claimed by demands. It might mean choosing depth more often than stimulation. It might mean valuing peace more than pace. Not because you are giving up, because you are trying to return to something more human. I think that is what a lot of people are really missing. Not success, not productivity, something more basic. A sense of being inside their own life again. Because a life can look full and still feel empty. It can look efficient and still feel disconnected. It can look successful and still feel unreal. And when that happens, people often try to solve it by improving the outside. More structure, more goals, more self-discipline. Sometimes that helps. But sometimes the deeper need is not improvement. It is reconnection. Reconnection to attention, to stillness, to the parts of life that actually restore you rather than just occupy you. And that is why I don't think this should end in hopelessness. Because if the story were simply that people are broken, there would be nowhere useful to go. But I don't think most people are broken. I think many people are overstretched, overexposed, and under-restored. That is different. Because broken feels final. This does not feel final to me. This feels changeable. Not instantly, not perfectly, but meaningfully. You can notice what your mind feels like. You can stop giving everything unlimited access to your attention. You can become more honest about what drains you. You can stop admiring a pace that is damaging you. You can build a life that feels more lived in, not just managed well, that will not remove every pressure. The world will still be noisy. Life will still ask difficult things. Some days will still feel heavy, but it is easier to respond well when you stop misreading yourself. Because once you realize that what you feel is a reaction, the shame loosens, and that matters. Because shame makes people attack themselves. Awareness helps them adjust. So if life has felt wrong lately, that does not automatically mean you are failing. It doesn't mean you are lazy, weak, or incapable. It may mean you have been trying to stay clear inside conditions that make clarity harder to keep. And once you see that, the story changes. Now, the answer is not to become more brutal with yourself. It is to become more accurate, to protect your attention more seriously, to choose your inputs carefully, to stop confusing coping with alignment, to stop calling survival success, to remember that common does not always mean healthy, and to recognize that not everything you feel is a personal flaw. Some of it is a warning. Some of it is a signal. Some of it is the cost of trying to stay human in this environment. Maybe you do not need a completely different life. Maybe you need a different relationship with the life you already have. Maybe it's time to shift the story.